هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا يا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا يا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا يا هلا ويا هلا ويا
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program. It's a Wednesday morning and great to be with you once again. Coming to you live from Sunning Hill in Johannesburg. This is ITV Networks. On the show today, we're going to be looking at the environment with Yunus Mita and Nazia Wadi. We're also going to talk smart teens with Madine Tyson. And first up on the show, we're going to talk Being Muslim 101. The two Muslimas in studio with us to talk about this amazing concept is Radia Manju and Zahira Kaji. And let's talk about Being Muslim 101. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program. And don't forget, the last interview on the show today is going to be touching on environmental issues with Yunus Mita and Nazia Wadi. So please do be sure to stay tuned. But right now, we're going to be talking to the founder of Smart Teens. And I promise you, she's turned out a couple of smart teens in her lifetime. Her name is Madine Tyson, and we're going to hear about her organization and what is it that makes Madine tick. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Julie.
Smart Teens, you are the founder, and I also know that your son is an ambassador.
He is
Am
indeed.
I correct?
He is indeed. In fact, he's one of the reasons why I started Smart Teens.
Really?
Yes.
So tell us, what was the story then? Well, before we get
Yes.
to your son being the ambassador and you the founder of Smart Teens,
Yes.
what do you understand by the organization called Smart Teens?
Julie, it's basically a life skill course for teens between the ages of 12 and 18. And what we do is we've given them an experiential smart toolbox so they are prepared for life and be able to deal with life as well.
So how long will the course actually take? So if I have a teenager
Yes.
that I believe needs to kind of almost catch up because he's lagged behind or he doesn't have motivation or is just not interested in schoolwork, would you be the right person to come
100%. 100%. We literally kickstart that teen, and it can be done in a 2-day or a 4-day course. Or we also come into schools and do it over a 12-week period, let's say an hour or two a week. Once a week for that 12 weeks.
And why only teenagers? What if a parent picks up the fact that she's got a 6 or a 7-year-old who's totally disinterested in school, cries and refuses to go to school, or will just rebel all the time? At that tender age, we know it happens.
Yes, it does.
Can you work with them, or do you refer them on to other facilities?
We are actually currently working on a program for 7 to 11-year-olds.
Oh, wow.
Because they are so receptive, Julie, to the information we're giving to them. And surprisingly enough, they love the information and they actually prosper through it. So we are working on it, and we have actually done 9-year-olds on our courses up to 21-year-olds. But there's a different dynamic, and that's why we stuck it to 12 to 18, and we'll be working on a different course next year on the younger kids.
We'll go in depth a little later on in the show into the course content.
Sure.
But you mentioned that your son is an ambassador at Smart Teens. I presume he's in his 20s already.
No, he's 17.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you said he was the reason why you founded Smart Teens.
One of the reasons, yes.
Why? So what was Madine doing before this happened in her life?
Literally, my background is 25 years in branding. So it's your corporate gifts, clothing, printing, and we brand companies. And one of my projects that I wanted to do is to start giving back to the community. And I love youth. So my background is scouting, life-saving, and I did some mind power stuff. So it was just a natural tendency for me to impart this information to the youth. So I thought of starting Smart Teens, which I did 2 years ago, just as part of my give back to society. and my CSI, as they call it. And one thing led to another, and it just became a popular course. And now it's even taken over my other business, Keep Emotions, and I now do Smart Teens on a full-time basis because I saw the need.
And the course just runs over 4 days during the holidays.
Correct.
And
Correct.
in that 4 days, you can pack in as much punch as you possibly can, and parents are going to see the difference in their children.
100%.
Okay, and the good news
Yes.
is that you are giving away a couple of vouchers.
I am indeed.
For Smart Teens.
I am
so
indeed.
get your fingers on the dial, because, and this is quite a substantial giveaway, because I think it's the value is about 3,000 Rand per child for the weekend. Would I be correct?
It's actually 2,295.
Yeah, 3,000
Yeah.
Rand. There you go. 3,000 Rand per child for a 4-day period spent with Madine at a facility, and just getting your child involved in how to motivate himself and how to learn smarter and be a smarter version of him or herself. This is targeted at teenagers. Please call in. We do have a couple of these giveaways, and they're worth 3,000 Rand per child. That's really amazing. Thank you very much for your generosity.
It's an absolute pleasure.
So and I'm thinking, how does this fit into the child's life? You have this amazing, energy-packed information 2-day or 4-day session. How do you fit the child, or how does it fit into the child's life?
It's basically a process and a sequence of events that we do that brings that process over to the child. So they walk through an actual curriculum, if I could put it that way, which I hate to use the word. But in essence, because we start with a certain process right through to the 4 days, they bond, and incredibly, they learn by doing, because it's an experiential workshop that we do. So it's not the sitting next to desks and just getting the information. They actually experience it. It's the scouting.
Taste it, smell it, do it.
Do it. It's the learning by doing.
Mm-hmm. What about children with genuine learning difficulties? Or you're also going to come across those parents that hand over their very rebellious teenagers to you. How do you hook them into this? Because as far as that teenager is concerned, this is just another trick to get me to start applying my mind to schoolwork.
What we try and do, Julie, is we try and discourage teenagers from coming if they don't want to be there. So if they get dragged to there, and a lot of teenagers do get dragged to the courses, I say to them, when we start, if you're not happy by 12 o'clock today, I will personally call your parents to come and fetch you. I've never had one, because I just love what they're doing. It's the bonding that actually happens. It's the experience that they have with other teenagers. And it's the sense of belonging that they feel within the first 2 to 3 hours. So I actually say to them, listen, if you're not wanting to be here, rather leave, because I don't want to spoil it for the rest of the teenagers. So their whole attitude changes. And then they say, okay, well, I'll see what they're all about, and that's where I get the buy-in. Then at the end of the time, whether it's a 2-day or a 4-day, I tend to have to drag them apart because they don't want to leave. And they themselves actually set up their own WhatsApp groups and Instagram, and that's what actually happens, is that bonding happens.
You talk about 2 days and 4 days.
Yes.
Why is there a difference there?
The 2-day is Smart Teens only, whereas the 4-day, we actually bring in public speaking, which is the Toastmasters section. So they actually go through a whole Toastmasters youth program on public speaking.
So that's optional, but it would come at an extra cost.
Correct.
Obviously.
Correct.
Now, when we look at Smart Teens, and I've raised the issue about children with learning difficulties, and also delinquent children for that matter, and
Yes.
you are able to work with them. But does Smart Teens not suggest, when I saw the name Smart Teens,
Yes.
I thought, here's someone who's going to take your high achievers. They are high achievers anyway. What else is she going to be doing with them? What else can she get out of them?
Let me put it this way. If I knew the information that I'm teaching when I was a teenager, my life would be different today. So one of the processes that we use is the M in SMART, which is mindful. Changing your mindsets. And it just makes it a whole different process that we use, because we're changing your mind to more from negative to positive, and bringing in goal setting and finding out who you are. Do you mind if I just go through the actual acronym?
Please, please.
So if you look at what we built around the name Smart Teens, the S stands for skills. So we teach them entrepreneurship and leadership and CPR and archery and music.
In that short 2-day period.
Yes, yes.
You're able to pack in that much.
We pack in that much. The M stands for mindful, so we're changing their mindsets. And what we do with that process is we use affirmations and visualizations. And a lot of bullying happens, and through technology and that type of stuff. So we're skilling them on how to deal with when you are down and depressed, and how do you get yourself out of it. The A stands for alignment. So we try and align them 3 ways: up to their guard, out to others, because if you're connecting with others and you show empathy and compassion, you connect with others. And insight, who are you? Because once you know who you are, you know where you're going. And then the R stands for rooted, like a big oak tree that stands by a river. If you are rooted and you've got a good foundation, you can achieve anything in your life. So we do that through vision boarding. So once you find out who you are, where you want to go, we then create that vision board for you so that you know what your journey is going to be. And the T stands for thankful. So if you look at our teenagers today across the world, it doesn't matter what culture, color you are, creed, you have got the sense of entitlement.
Oh, absolutely.
So what we try and do is say, listen, thank the Lord that you're actually awake this morning, that you're breathing. Doesn't matter if you live in a mansion or in a padoke, as we call it, or a shack. What is important is that you're thankful for the small things. And as you become thankful, you become grateful. And when you're grateful, you attract people, places, and things to yourself, and your whole life changes.
Absolutely.
So that's what Smart Teens stands for. And we hope that when they leave, they are self-confident, and they've got their self-esteem is boosted, they've made friends, they've grabbed a skill or two, and that's why they become Smart Teens.
We're going for an ad break, but when we come back, I want to unpack the vision board.
Sure.
Is it individual or is it collective? But let's look at that and more right after the ad break. Madine Tyson is my guest. She's the founder of a concept, or apart from the concept, she obviously goes to different schools, and depending where you are, if you are able to bring together a group of youngsters, she will then come to you anywhere in the country, I should imagine, to bring this concept of either 2 days or 4 days of Smart Teens. And it is the value of this 2-day the 2-day session is 3,000 rands. Madine is very generously offered a couple of giveaways, and if you do call in, you do qualify to send your teenager to attend this 2-day workshop with Madine, and it would be in the Greater Johannesburg area. Don't go away. We're still going to unpack Smart Teens even further, and we're going to tell you the amazing people and the achievements after the ad break.
Build your wealth by utilizing Oasis' range of investment products, designed specifically for socially responsible and ethical investors. These regulated products are managed by qualified and experienced professionals who are focused on creating value for you over the long term. Whether you're saving for something specific, wanting to contribute towards your retirement fund, Oasis has a product just for you. Contact your financial advisor or call us directly. Oasis, commitment unwavering.
Metro Lifestyle Center, where you can find all brands and lifestyle products at very competitive prices. Metro Lifestyle is a one-stop shop with appliances, deco, household, textiles and many more products. Metro Lifestyle is proud of their services and assistance to every customer with staff that are trained and knowledgeable. With more than 7 decades of experience and assistance from overseas imports, Metro has the advantages of helping clients save by offering the best prices. If you're interested or seeking great lifestyle products at great prices, don't hesitate to knock on the door of Metro Lifestyle Center. Give us a call on 08611 Metro.
Be part of the preservation of the word of Allah by sponsoring a Hafiz for only 2,000 rands a month. Remember, Allah is in the assistance of His servant as long as He is in the assistance of others. Every nation is built on a solid foundation, the Al Tawheed Foundation. Contact us on 011 211 6009.
We're talking to Madine Tyson. She's the founder of a program called Smart Teens, and I'm not going to say foundation or a school because she travels all around. She doesn't, she's not stationary in one place. So if you're out in one of the rural towns or in one of the farm towns and you can get together a group of people, 5 or 10 youngsters, give Madine a call and she will gladly come and spend a weekend workshopping with those children to definitely get them to the next level. Would I be correct in having said that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The ideal is to have 15 because of the dynamics of how we do the process.
15 or 50?
15. 15,
okay.
yeah.
Too big a group, then you lose them, don't you?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Why did you, it was quite a journey for you getting this started. You're 2 years in the making.
Correct, Julia.
But a very specific reason why you decided to start Smart Teens. Tell us the story.
Literally 3 reasons. The one was my character is that of helping others, of motivating others, inspiring others. So it was my personality since 12 years of age. I've always been the oldest and I've always had that sort of leadership quality. And the second reason was I'm a IY generation parent. And with that comes all the challenges, being the technology that they have to deal with. And what I found is that they, Tim Elmore, in his book IY Generation, talks about 4 words, being overwhelmed, overconnected, overprotected and overserved. And when I read the book, it was actually beginning of the year, I was in tears by chapter 5 because I just realized how much work we've got to do with the youth and what our generation has actually put to the stumbling blocks that they actually have. But it's not your fault, not their fault, it's just the way life has actually happened and we need to actually deal with that. The sad thing was that one of my son's friends about 6 weeks ago committed suicide.
Oh, no.
So it's made me more determined to get out there and to really reach the youth. And that was one of the reasons because I started because of that 2 years ago, because I realized that 10% of our youth is either thinking or has committed suicide. And I cannot stand along not doing anything about it. So that's why I started Smart Teens. And then the third reason was there's this terrible gap between parents, teachers, and teens. And all Smart Teens does is fill that gap, is to bring the people together, bring those organizations and people together to actually work together to be able to have a successful life. And that's where Smart Teens really started from.
Now, you've told us you've broken down the concept of this 2-day workshop with you at Smart Teens, and it sounds absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Where did you draw all these ideas from? Because as you were speaking, I was thinking motivational speakers, I was thinking Robin Banks, and I was thinking Toastmasters and a whole host more. So talk to us about that.
Absolutely. What we've tried to do is have trainers, facilitators that specialize in their fields and bring them along.
And pitch it at the level of a teenager.
And pitch at the level of a teenager. So we've actually used outside facilitators to come in and pitch to kids. So what Smart Teens really does, it's in Afrikaans they use the word 'n tong tippie toets, which is just a little taste of something. For example, with Robin Banks' Mind Power, with Toastmasters, a bit of public speaking, and so with the rest of it. So all we're doing is exposing the teenager, which schools are not doing, to certain things that they need, certain skills they need for life going forward. And that's what we've done.
Challenges in setting up Smart Teens and the way forward. You're 2 years in the making. Is it really growing by leaps and bounds?
It is growing. And what I love about Smart Teens is that the parents are starting to realize there is a solution for my child, whether they are actually achievers or non-achievers. These are tools that they would need for life. Mm-hmm. And that's why we are being so successful. So my target market is really the teens who want to better themselves, and the parents that would like to get their kids, give them a hand up, if I could put it that way, more than what school is doing. And not that we are against school, or school is doing a wonderful job, but we are behind in a couple of years, trust me, in the schooling system. So all we try to do is bridge that gap so that when they go back to school, they are able to learn. Because one of the things we do is learning styles. So if you understand how you learn and how your teacher teaches, you can bring those two processes together and know how to get the information from her or him, and how you can actually bring your learning style to the fore to make sure that you understand, because it's about being experiential. It's about experiencing that subject. It's about understanding that subject in a way that you can bring it forth when you need to bring the information in an exam or a test or whatever. But if you experience that subject, it's better, because you're not just hearing it, but you're actually doing it, and that's what makes us so powerful.
One of the huge problems in our country, as you are well aware, is the poor literacy rates.
Correct.
And just how backward we are as far as maths and science is concerned. If a child like that comes to you, I mean, you can't wave a magic wand and, make things happen for him or her. But what is it that you do that they grasp, a more concrete concept of maths and science? And of course, with the literacy, they just have to read. But what else do you do to just make it a little easier for them to move on and get a better understanding of the concepts?
Julie, the first thing I would say is your mindset. Because if you can change your mindset, because think about it, right through your life, in fact, up to the age of 7, that's when your character forms. And if you had parents or grandparents or teachers or family members telling you, hey, you're stupid, you're going to believe that. And it could be one little thing, one incident that can change the rest of your life. And it sits there until you actually deal with it. So what we try and do at Smart Teens is explain to the teenagers that you are worth amazing. You've got talent. You've got an amazing amount of stuff inside you. Everything that you need is inside of you, and all you've got to do is bring it forward. So all we try and do is encourage that, and tell them and build their self-confidence that they're not unintelligent, that they can do anything that they want if they put their mind to it. So they've got to do a mindset change. And once that happens, they think, oh, that sum wasn't so bad. Oh, I like maths or science or whatever. And maybe they're not a maths and science person. They might be arts.
That's a reality.
That's a reality, because what we're doing is we're losing all of our creative people, because we tell them, listen, if you're not good at maths and science and English and EMS, you need to go to a remedial school, or, because you don't fit into the box. And it's not about fitting into the box. It's about finding who you are. What is your talent? What is your, what have you been put on this earth for? And find a parent to support what that child is and who that child is. And once that happens, they fly.
Madine, this is a 2-day program, 2 days extra if the kids or the parents opt to let the child go for a Toastmasters course, public speaking, etc. And that also obviously gains, they gain in confidence. And this is a once-off program that they attend. But what about those parents that want to send their children from age 13 up to 18 year after year? Would that be serving them well? Or
Absolutely.
would they become bored?
Absolutely. Because every one of our courses have got, or workshop, shall I say, has got the basics. But we always bring in new elements all the time. And in fact, what we're working on is a 7-step process, which will start early next year, where they can actually bring their kids to different workshops to gain that information, because it's actually a journey that you go through, and you learn as you go. So yes, they do definitely come back, and my son particularly has said to me on numerous occasions, I love coming to the course because I learn something new every time. And sometimes they've got to repeat the information, because as you repeat the information, it becomes part of you, and therefore you achieve.
The third reason that you started Smart Teens was your son. Was he having a problem at school?
Oh my heaven! Oh yes, yes. He's got a story from 0 to 0, and it's a beautiful story. From 0 to hero. Because what has happened is that he was bullied, and he wasn't doing well, and he couldn't move his body, and he was a little bit overweight. And he's a very tall person, so he was, a gentle giant. And literally in the space of 18 months, through the various processes which I will expose parents to, through the course and in their feedback sessions, because I insist.
Which means that parents have to do post-work after the course.
They have to come to the course just before we're finishing. We wrap it up, we tell them it's a 2-hour session, we tell them what has actually happened, what we need to do, and we try and create a community of positive people, and they come to other parent meetings, which we then do besides the courses, and teaching them various things that Smart Teens actually teaches their teens as well. But parents also need to be equipped. We don't get a manual when we get our kids, so we teach them what different processes as well. But the main thing is that he became, within that 18 months, he became a Gauteng life-saving Victor Ladorum.
Wow!
In literally 18 months, and he repeated that process 3 times every year.
We also have a clip that we need to watch, which you forwarded on to us. So
yes.
Let's have a look at that. And I think we've run out of time. So I know you've had great successes, but hopefully the next time you come in, we'll talk about all of that and much, much more.
Wonderful.
Let's have a look at the clip.
What I think I took from the course is that schooling is not always enough for young people, and we need to take it beyond school and really take it upon ourselves to bring the change that we want to see.
So I think I can go away feeling more confident, less awkward.
I've been motivated to do better at school because I wasn't really the best learner, so I want to improve on that.
I learned that I'm an aesthetic and a visual learner, and this will help me study in the future.
Absolutely amazing. We've touched on young people below their teens, teenagers, but I'm thinking about those people that have missed this opportunity. They were into their 20s and 30s. There was no interventions done in their lives. What happens to them? Are there any programs that can cater for that target market?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that question, Julie, because I love to collaborate with other organisations, and one of them being Youth Today, a group, which is Michelle Asperner, and she's got a whole process that she works with. So they come through Smart Teens, and then I hand them over to Youth Today Radio, a group, because she's got radio, TV, she's got online learning as well. And what our process is that we need to make sure that those kids between the ages of 18 up to 30 odd that have missed the mark, that are unemployed, that are not skilled enough.
Even if they've not been to Smart Teens, they can go straight onto the adult program.
Absolutely, and that's what we are building and collaborating with other organisations to skill those people up to be able to go into the workforce, because we are sitting with a youth that is unemployed. And that's why we started Smart Teens, to make sure we don't have that in the future, but those that have or find themselves sitting in that situation now, we can still assist.
How do people get hold of you?
They go to www.smartteens.co.za.
And that's all we have time for. Thank you indeed for making our teens very smart, helping to make very smart adults, obviously, and giving them a better version of themselves and more meaning to their lives. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Julie.
All the very best.
Thank you.
Madine Tyson talking about her organization called Smart Teens. And as we've said, if you're out in the country towns, you can get in touch with her as long as you can get together a group of 15 teenagers. She's more than happy to come and spend a weekend in your part of the world trying to get the best version of your children. Stay with us. We're now going to talk environmental issues.